Guys, let's continue talking about the Lions. He covers the Lions, publisher of all Lions on SI.com, the great John Doc Maakaron. You can follow him on Twitter at Detroit Podcast. Doc, it's been a while. It's been too long, my friend.
What up, Doc?
It's all good. All the love being shown the Lions. We're talking about a Detroit Lions team that has huge expectations. It's all good. All good.
Hey, Doc, let me start there because we were talking about this a little bit earlier in the show. All this love that the Lions have been getting nationally, they seem to be the sexy pick for everything this year. Where are you on the expectation for the Lions, on the love that this organization is getting?
Yeah, it's well-deserved. I mean, you look at a football team 2 years ago, right from the first press conference from Dan Campbell, it was lampooned. But Dan Campbell was not speaking to the likes of me or the media. He was talking directly to the locker room in terms of what kind of football team he wants to create. And all you can ask for is stand by your word and deliver. And last year you saw a football team that started off 1-6 and then scratched and clawed their way back to win 8 out of 10 football games. And now when you let Brad Holmes cook and add groceries to the kitchen, oh my goodness, the respect and the adoration that's now being shown the Lions is well-deserved. And this is an opportunity now, because before we've all laughed when we heard the rare national pundit talking positively about the Lions. Yeah. We'd all fall out of our chairs laughing. But this year, there is a realistic expectation that this football team is going to not only get to the postseason, but do some damage.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Detroit Lions caught a lot of strays on a lot of national shows. Mm-hmm. Now they're actually catching a lot of intent. Quick question, you look at the Detroit Lions, you see how they're scripted, how they're moving the right direction. It seems like Brad Holmes does have his finger on the pulse. The thing I want to focus on, talk about what it means when all the players come here. They talk about just wanting to do wherever they got to be, whether it's Cam Sutton talking about wherever you got to play. CJ Mosley, I just can't wait. CJ, I just can't wait to get on the field. David Montgomery, I can't wait to get here. I'll pour water for Jared Goff if I had to. Talk about how excited, not only that they came, how excited. Cam Sutton said this is going to change his life. Let's go to Detroit. Talk about how excited these free agents are.
Yeah, it's just a vast difference than even 4 or 5 years ago. Look, Detroit had the reputation of being a retirement home. Players would come, cash their checks, and then hit those I-75 eyes when the season would tank. Now you look at it, and part of the rebuilding of the culture was to sell the program. That's why you see all these great videos. You see Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes talking a lot more. What are they trying to accomplish? They're trying to establish that, hey, this is a football program that can be fun in the locker room. We let men act like men. We treat them as professionals. And when out there on the football field, winning is very fun. And you realize that Aaron Glenn, Dan Campbell, from their time with the Saints, laid a foundation with the players that were there. You look at a C.J. Gardner-Johnson talking about a coach, a defensive coordinator, as a father figure. You never really kind of hear that too often when you look at the player-coach relationship. It's a little more businesslike. But what the Lions are trying to accomplish is a family atmosphere where professionals can act like professionals, and that way you can foster the talent to grow and to perform at the highest levels. And when you can add free agents on one-year deals, guys, C.J. Gardner-Johnson could have accepted the contract offer that he was given. No, he bet on himself a little bit, willing to take a prove-it deal in Detroit, where he knows Aaron Glenn and is familiar with the scheme. That bodes well for your program. And now with the collection of talent that's in place, it's going to be a lot of fun in 2023. And when you're having fun, players talk. And these players are loving being on social media, loving hosting their own podcast. So these players are loving sharing how great it is playing for Dan Campbell.
Doc, I hear the excitement in your voice. I hear the excitement in the city. I feel like I hear from Ryan and Maz and everybody involved. Everybody wants to get on the bandwagon now. With that being said, just 2 years ago, this team was 3-13-1. Last year at the start of the season, this team was 1-6. Is there any chance that this team can go backwards? This is a question Ryan, Ermanni, and I were talking about with Maz literally 20 minutes ago. Is there any way that this team can go backwards from where they're moving right now?
Oh, who brought the hater onto the program? No.
We got to cover both sides, man.
Yeah, no, I respect that. Understood. What would derail the Lions 2023 season? An injury to Goff, a significant plague of injuries, which has happened to a bunch of NFL teams. But when you look at it, this is a young, hungry football team, and you just have to look at the makeup of what type of player these guys are looking for. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell will forego some talent to bring in gritty, tough football players that when the chips are down, when the team starts 1-6, they don't make noise in the media. They just bury their head in the sand and get back to work to be able to turn things around. That's the type of player that is being brought to the locker room. So obviously you're concerned about what the Bears are doing, the Vikings' talent on offense. But when you look at what the Lions have built, a defense that has improved, an offense, guys, that is going to be scary good with David Montgomery, and we're finally going to see Jamison Williams unveiled a little bit more. It's looking like the Lions are, and that, look at that home schedule. The home schedule is really advantageous for the Lions to win at least 7 of their 8 home games. So I'm looking to the Lions to take a step forward, and just like Ryan said, the floor is at least win the division.
Hey, Doc, talk about quarterback with me. You know, we're hearing all this that the Lions have been hot after Richardson the whole time. They've been to all their games. They've scouted the hell out of him. Now they float something out there that, you know, they don't know what's between his helmet. So maybe to get the bloodhounds off his trail. First question for you is, do you think the Lions should draft him at number 6?
Yeah, it's a great question because it's confusing in regards to Brad Holmes said that he was going to make a more concerted effort to bring in a quarterback behind Jared Goff. But this is the tough part with Richardson. I see a player that is obviously a project but has the tools in the right system to succeed. I feel like it's the right player for the Lions at the wrong time. You look at what the Lions are needing, they're needing a veteran backup just in case if Jared Goff goes down in 2023, can go out there and win a couple games for you. I don't think that Anthony Richardson in 2023. Now, if I'm looking ahead to 2025 and he's developing and is behind a veteran quarterback, that could be a boom or bust pick. But right now for the Lions, they're in a position to take strides forward. I'm not so certain that you upset the apple cart and you bring in a guy that as soon as you take him number 6, guys like me are going to say, okay, Goff has a bad game and throws 2 or 3 interceptions in week 4. I'm saying, hey, wait a minute. What about Anthony? Put him in there.
Yep.
Maybe he can throw it deeper to J-Mo. You don't want that smoke around this football team. I think there's some quarterbacks you can select still in free agency as a backup and maybe draft a developmental quarterback in later rounds. I think this football team at number 6 needs a ready every down player to handle business. So while I love Anthony Richardson, I think he has a greater than 50% chance of being successful, just not right now for the Detroit Lions.
So when then? They're not going to pick in this position anymore. So now you want to wait and draft a quarterback that might be okay. Plus you lose the 5th-year option if you don't pick him in the first round. And who's left? Teddy Bridgewater? Case Keenum? Who's left to pick up?
Yeah, Maz, here's the thing. If you're drafting later, what does that signal? The football team is winning.
Right.
And what does that signal? That the love for Jared Goff is there. Guys, I know it's hard to wrap our minds around it. I've written plenty of articles at All Lions looking at a vast array of mobile quarterbacks, but you just have to finally accept what the Lions are telling you. Brad Holmes was part of the group that drafted him, and they traded significant capital at the Rams to get him. They have tailored. Ben Johnson comes in and spends an offseason looking and watching film with Jared Goff. They've tailored an offensive line, a run game, tight ends, and a wide receiver. Guys, I know it's tough to admit and accept, but this is Jared Goff's team.
Tell him
until
that.
he falls. This is Jared Goff's team. They're telling you this is Jared Goff's team. And until he guys, he performed last year. He shut up all the critics. He performed well. He kept that team together. The offense is purring. So, guys, I think all credit to Jared Goff by being able to, with his play, let us maybe not have to look at the quarterback position at least for a couple more years.
Talking to Doc Maakaron, covers the Lions for SI.com. I want to put this mock draft up for you here, Doc, because I think this is the worst case scenario for the Detroit Lions. This is Daniel Jeremiah's. He's got Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson, Anthony Richardson, and Jalen Carter going in the first 5 picks. If that is the scenario, what the hell do you do if you're the Detroit Lions? Because nobody is going to want to trade up in that spot, so you can't trade down. That's off the table. The 5 home run hitters, really, whether you like Richardson or like Carter or not, they have boom potential. So what the hell do you do? My eyes almost want to bleed when I see a corner there projected at 6.
No, absolutely. I know you guys are nervous, but you have to look at it like this. Okay, for me, what I want, I'd love to see if Jalen Carter was there. Would the Lions take the chance? I want to know, would they take a chance on that prospect based on what's happened? But the scenario that you've presented, I still think there are players 6 through 10 that you would love to have. I think Tyree Wilson could come in and really play well with his great wingspan. 6'6", over 265 pounds, potentially slot him into the interior of the defensive line.
Out. Yep.
Yeah, in and out, you can do a lot of things well with Tyree Wilson. I look at it, and maybe it does open the potential to trade back, maybe even down to the 20s if you need be. What you've done is you've given yourself a lot of options at number 6. If you choose to stay there, you could even take a Lucas Van Ness. Many people are high on what he can bring to the table. But guys, what's going to happen is I trust the Lions evaluators to find the best talent for that team. Tough, gritty football player, and it probably at that spot you would look at Tyree Wilson in that scenario.
How about at 18 then? Who are you grabbing at 18?
Now you're at 18. Yeah, now you're getting to the luxury picks. Maybe you go back and you look at, Joey Porter Jr., you look at the defensive back, you potentially, maybe move that up to maybe get a top wide receiver if you want to play that game again. Maybe you do fall in love with Bijan Robinson. It gives you a lot of flexibility.
How do you feel about
Doc?
Let me stop you there. How do you feel about Bijan Robinson? Does the David Montgomery signing change anything for the Lions in terms of
will he be there?
If Bijan, I don't even think he's going to be there at 18, but if he is there at 18, if he's staring you in the face, what do you do there?
If he's staring you in the face at 18, you take him, because that's another weapon for Jared Goff. You remember, guys, the most success that Jared Goff had was playing with Todd Gurley. Yeah, absolutely. So you give him another weapon, a home run threat, a dog, everybody that people potentially feel is the next big thing at running back. And for the discussion regarding not giving him 3 contracts, you still would have control of him for 5 years. And that's just perfect in this window where this Detroit Lions football team is at. But I'm loving the opportunity in the first round with what the Lions do. Maybe you look at a linebacker, Trenton Simpson. Maybe you look at other positions of need. Guys, remember, what's Brad Holmes doing? He's building through the trenches. Yeah. So don't rule out Osiris, the big offensive tackle.
From Florida.
So you look at opportunities that Brad Holmes has. I know there's a lot of angst regarding what pick is going to be there and who might not be there, who the Lions, who you guys fall in love with. But now I would say that whatever happens in the first round and in the draft, Mel Kiper today just came out and told us in the media that Brad Holmes gets an A for his draft efforts. I am very much now A+. I am trusting that draft board that he's put up there right now, however variations shake out, the players that are going to be brought in, they're going to produce. Odds are they're going to come in and play at a high level. I think your nervousness stems from the past where they would draft a player and the next guy drafted would be Aaron Donald. Brad Holmes has started to put that to rest a little bit, trust a little bit more in Brad Holmes. Where I would worry is the second round. When it comes to the second round, I'm going to be sweating like, please pick a player that's going to produce, because that's where the busts have been.
All you gotta do, Doc, is just look who was injured last year, who's available this year, because you got to take an injured player in the second round, right? I can correct myself.
You got to keep it going.
Yeah,
you got to keep the streak going.
Hey, Doc, great stuff, man. We love having you. Thanks for everything here. Check him out on Twitter at Detroit Podcast. Covers the Lions on SI.com. The great John Doc Maakaron. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
See you, Doc.
Thanks, everybody. Go Lions.